Hello, and thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels Live Hospitality Talk Show. Sorry about that. Had a little technical difficulties, but that's okay. The show must go on, right? So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm live on LinkedIn and YouTube. I've been kind of going back and forth. I was doing live with on Facebook, but it's just an experiment. As you do these shows, you kind of experiment with your audience, see what's going on, see who likes, who doesn't, who comments, who doesn't, where you get the most interaction from. So I said, let's change it up a little bit. And so, hey, today I'm on, and I think from moving forward, I'll be live more on LinkedIn than any other platform because guess what? I get more engagement on LinkedIn than the other platforms, but I am on YouTube as well. So I'm streaming from StreamYard to LinkedIn and YouTube. So there you go. In fact, let me just make sure I refresh my screen over here because I'm doing like three things at one time. You got to produce, star in your own show. I mean, you got to do everything, right? So, but let me, some things I need to do. There you go. So, so there's a lot going on here, right? So, but thank you so much for joining Anya Russell of Hotels. We become a podcast after the show's over, just in case you didn't know. So, and if you unable to catch the live show, that's all right. We have a podcast, and that's on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, Overcast, and Apple Podcasts. So, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasting platform. So, just so you know, you guys can make comments. That's one thing I was having issues with on Facebook where I couldn't get some real time comments. So, on LinkedIn and YouTube, if you have comments, please feel free to make comments, say hello, do whatever you like to do. I would appreciate that. So, we're going to get started here in a minute. There it is right there. So, just want to make sure that my show is showing on my laptop here. So there we go. So anyway, we're all about connecting and collaborating with people. Hashtag hospitality unplugged. That's what I always say. We talk about anything hospitality. That's what the show is all about. Talking about anything hospitality. For people that don't know, I mean, I have some years in the hospitality industry, hotels specifically. Um, 20 plus 25 plus years as a director of sales and marketing and a general manager and everything in between, right? Started off as a housekeeping manager and kind of worked my way up years ago, so eons ago. So things are things have changed drastically now with COVID. I'm just glad I'm not on property during this COVID time because regardless, and people always say, oh, if I was doing this at this, no, 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 no. This is uncharted territory. I don't know how I would have handled, working on property during this COVID thing as a GM or as a director of sales and marketing, or even if I would be working at this point, because a lot of people got furloughed and laid off and things like that. So I'm just glad I didn't have to go through it, but I feel for the people that did or that are currently going through it. But anyway, today is Tuesday, April 27th. It's show number 105. Who'd have thought I've done show number one, right? But anyway, 2 years and some change later, I'm at show number 105, and I'm all about being a disruptor of the status quo. What does that mean? A marketing disruptor of the status quo. What does that mean? That just means, you know, I don't know. But anyway, but no, the reason why I started the show is because I wanted to jumpstart my brand or be a disruptor, right? Do something that no one else was doing, get out of my comfort zone, things like that. So that's what I did. So I started first, it started off as a radio show, an internet radio show, it then became a podcast, and then became more of a video show or a live video show, but still with the components to do a podcast. So but anyway, so that's where I started, and I appreciate anyone that's making comments right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But anyway, industry news. So what we do is just start an industry news. What's going on in the industry, and this industry from my perspective, right? So I mean, things that I read during the week or today or whatever. So this is just for the people that maybe this is their first time joining me, right? So I'm Russell Edmond. I go by the name of Russell of Hotels. So just in case you didn't know that, so that's hence the name On Air with Russell of Hotels. So countdown to Disneyland reopening, April 30th. Did you guys know that Disneyland will be reopening April 30th, and that's going to be huge for Southern California. So we're just waiting for that to happen to jumpstart this Southern California economy, and then the state of California is supposed to open up June 30th. So, things that are not open should be open then, or maybe things that are open on a limited basis, like some restaurants, 25% capacity. I think for after the 30th, I think everything's going to be just wide open like it was before. So, jobs requiring a COVID vaccination prior to being hired. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about your job? Say you're interviewing for this job, and they basically said, "Hey, have you had your COVID vaccination? Because we're going to need proof in order to offer you this job." Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing for the industry? Is it legal? Can we even do that? I don't know. I mean, I've heard that legally you can do it, but then I've heard on the other side, well, no one's come with a lawsuit yet, so we don't know. But you know, I guess you can sue for anything. But it's interesting to see how things are going to go because right now the hospitality industry is having a hard time. This is what I'm hearing. Okay, just this is what I'm hearing. Different parts of the country are having a hard time, finding people to work. Right. I don't know if it's just line workers or management as well, but they're finding it hard. They're finding it hard to find people to fill those positions. So, and now throw, okay, we'll hire you, but then throw on, you're going to be required to either show proof of a vaccination, or you're going to have to get a vaccination before you start working. So, what do you guys think about that? I mean, let me know. What do you think about that stuff? That's interesting, right? And who would have thought, these times that you would have to, first of all, have a vaccination, and then second, now if you're trying to find a new job, new career, a lot of companies are saying, hey, show me that proof, show me that card. Well, I have mine. So just so you guys know, I am vaccinated, 100% ready to go. Marketing department. This is one thing that I came up with the other day. I, thoughts run in and out of my mind, right? About what content to present on these shows, right? And with the hospital industry having a hard time finding people, what are we doing? Because we throw all this stuff on HR, like if we even have an HR department, right? We throw things on HR as far as recruiting. Are HR people really recruiters? Are they going to send out postings for, I mean, I know they do the inner office postings and maybe they put it on, what do you call it? H Careers or Indeed. I mean, that's basic stuff. I mean, everyone does that, right? Well, what if I'm an HR director, right? And I get my marketing department involved in this, someone who's doing maybe social media postings for the hotel to get business in. Well, couldn't we do the same thing for if we have positions that are open, shouldn't we be creative about how we approach potential employees or potential associates, potential managers? I mean, could you just imagine doing a TikTok video of your current employees try to attract new employees? I mean, those are things that the hospitality industry, for whatever reason, we're just so focused on one thing. This is the one way we got to do it. We're going to use H Careers and Indeed, and that's it. We're not doing things creative. I mean, that's something that I just pulled that out, right? So why don't we do things differently like that? So if we are looking for if we have open positions at our hotel, HR people, ask your director of sales and marketing. That's the marketing part of that director of sales thing. Ask them if they can assist you with maybe creating videos or postings or something to find better candidates or candidates that are interested in working. I mean, you got to separate yourself. Each hotel has to separate themselves by doing something differently, right? I mean, that's just in marketing. If we're trying to, promote this particular hotel or we have a special and things like that, we do the same things, right? So why couldn't we just post something about our openings as well on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on wherever it is, right? Because we want to target market specific people, whatever those positions are. Those line positions? Are they manager positions? It may depend. I mean, if it's more of a management position, you can go all out on any social media platforms, I'm sure, right? But maybe if it's, some back of the house employees that you're trying, or a position that you're trying to fill, maybe you need to be specific about which platforms you're going to use, because it may not go to everyone, or maybe you do use the traditional H career and Indeed. I don't know, but I just think we need to be more creative about how we get people in the doors of our hotels or our establishments. I mean, this goes for any industry. I mean, I'm saying hospitality because that's what I do, but you may want to try that. So get your marketing department in charge, or get your marketing department, um, get them involved in the recruiting process, because the HR people, they do HR, right? They're processing, payroll, they're processing the employees I-9 forms and all this kind of stuff. They may not have time to do that. So take something out their plate and help them out. Remember, we're gonna have to start doing more with less during this whole post-COVID thing that we're going through. So just because you think this is your job, or the iron hand of this department, guess what? There's going to be some overlapping. So just think about that. Just something to think about. What innovations in hotels and restaurants are here to stay? And I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Innovations to hotel. Let's just say hotel specifically, or let's just say whatever. It doesn't matter, hotels, restaurants, but like QR codes. Okay, those are here to stay, right? The QR codes have been here for a while. It's just that now we've come to the situation where we have to use them, because we're trying to go to this touchless, not totally touchless society, but certain entities, we want it to be touchless, right? We don't want to have to, touch, what do you call them, menus and things like that. So QR codes are used for menus, right? So you go to restaurants, there's a table tent on the table, and all you do is use your phone camera, and it basically punches up the menu, and you can order. So when the server finally comes, you can say, "Hey, I'm ready. I don't need a menu. I'm ready to go. I already have my stuff," right? So that stuff is not going anywhere. It shouldn't go anywhere, right? So those are here to stay. What about self-serve bars, right? So you check into a hotel, and the bar doesn't open till 5 o'clock. Well, I want a beer now. It's 2 o'clock. I want a beer now. What if you had a self-serve bar in your lobby, or some of these hotels they've gone to, they have these little markets or whatever. And what you do, and I'll just use this one particular company that I'm familiar with. It's called Tended Bar, right? So they have self-service bars where you can go up, you can order one of 34 different types of drinks, right? And in a matter of seconds, it basically dispenses it. You get it and you keep it going, right? You go to the front desk, you get a wristband that has the little code on it, the little, what is it called? Something that opens up your rooms. I can't think of the, my goodness, can't think of the name of it, but it basically, bloop, you go up there and bloop, it reads it, and then you're ready to dispense your drink, right? So what about those? I haven't seen a lot of those. I've seen a couple of those here in the LA area, but don't you think we'll be going more towards that, given the whole situation? So I think, are those here to stay? I don't know if those are here to stay, but that's at least something different. I think there's something that you can make revenue with when you don't have an employee there that would basically, be the bartender, if you will. If that person doesn't come till 5 o'clock, that's fine. I'll let them come till 5 o'clock, but that doesn't mean you can't make revenue before that. So you buy one of these self-serve bars like Tended Bar, and that solves that problem, right? Somebody wants to drink before 5 o'clock, they can get it, right? And you don't have to have an employee there to serve them. And the person can come in at 5 o'clock and keep it moving. But I just think we're missing out on some technology, and we're missing out on some revenue. So streaming services in your room. Now, if you don't have a streaming service in your room, if I can't get Netflix and I just checked in, well, then there's an issue, okay? Because if I have it at home, why shouldn't I have it in a hotel? So that's what people, back in the day, say some years ago, people would go to hotels and they would see hotels were like cutting edge. Some hotels that had, maybe they had, Netflix already, or at least cable. They had channels that you didn't have at home, right? Well, now I think is more homes have more things. Like, I have Netflix here, but a lot of hotels, do they have Netflix or streaming services where you can get your streaming service at your hotel room? I don't know. What about keyless entry? I can unlock the door with my phone. I can do that here at my house, but I've been to a hotel just last week. They didn't have keyless entry. So those are things that we need to jumpstart and get on top of, because guess what? guests are going to ask for it. So I'm not saying anything that people are not asking for. So I mean, those are things that I always say. What innovations in hotels or restaurants are here to stay? And like I said, one would be QR codes for restaurants and menus, self-service bars like Tended Bar, streaming services like like I said, Netflix or Disney Channel or whatever you want, and keyless entries. I think those things are here to stay, and we need to embrace those things. I want to thank last week's guest. That's Mr. Jack Wardell. He is a video creator with a company called Elation Creative. And you know what? Let me just, you know, what I do is let me just send out a little shout out to Jack. Okay, so he was on last week, and I always want to put up someone's logo just so you can, just in case someone was interested, maybe somebody didn't hear it last week or watching last week, but I always want to put their information up there, at least their company name, their logo up there one more time and talk about him for a little bit, just in case you missed it. So there you go. So Jack Wardell, in fact, I can check this out. You can blink, 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 like a neon light, right? So I can do all that, right? So there you go. But anyway, so I want to thank him for coming on the show last week. He's a video creator, specializing in hospitality. He does hotels, he does Airbnbs, CVBs, DMOs. So he captures, video footage for if you're trying to promote your brand. I mean, go to his Instagram, and that is Elation at Elation Creative. So check it out and check out some of the videos that he's produced. And you wouldn't be sorry. You won't be sorry if you went with him. I tell you that. Our hotel's ready to reopen. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. What is our game plan? Do we have staff on call? Have we contacted people? Are we ready to go back to? It's never going to be the way it was, but are we ready to move forward from 30% to 40%? Because every 20%, we have to bring in more people, right? Because we're getting a little bit more busier. So I was at this hotel a couple of weeks ago, and I think I may have mentioned it on a previous show, where this gentleman is working the front desk. He's like the director of operations. He has no help. It's just him, right? And he says, well, we're running, about 40% now, consistently 40%. And I said, well, where's the threshold to when you would bring someone else in to assist you? And he said, well, the general manager said, when we get to about 60%. So we got 20 more percent to go before I can bring someone else in. But what happens in the meantime? Are we sacrificing guest service for having, one more employee there to assist? I don't know. But I mean, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand the dilemma that hotel owners or general managers have to go through. I understand it, but I'm not in it. So I mean, they're in it, so they know exactly what they're doing. I would hope so. But just remember, service is what the hospitality industry is about. And if you're not getting that, if you're not making the feel like special, then people are more than likely not going to come back because of the experience. I was at another hotel where there was one person checking 10 people in at one time, right? So, I mean, 10 individual people. There's a line, basically, one person in front and then another 9 people behind them. So I'm watching the whole interaction, and it was not a good experience for the people that were in line. So, at what point do we say, hey, at least during this time, we're bringing an extra person in? Maybe there's a 4-hour window, so you don't have that person in for the whole 8-hour shift, but maybe they only need help for those 8 hours. You know what I mean? So we got to be a little different, or we got to think a little different on how we take care of these guests, because guess what? All you need is one negative experience and people won't come back. And then one thing someone said, I was listening to a Clubhouse room, and this gentleman says, when you're packing your clothes to come, make sure you pack your patience, because things are going to be different. And I mean, case in point, a situation where there's one person checking in 10 to 15 people, right? So make sure you pack your patience as a guest or a prospective guest. So I thought that was funny, and I thought it was well received, definitely. Hey, speaking of Clubhouse, are you guys on Clubhouse? Is anyone on Clubhouse? That's a way to enhance your networking and your brand. I've been on Clubhouse now for about 2 months, and I've grown what have I grown? I've grown my network, right? I've grown my network on LinkedIn. I've grown my network on Instagram. And it's not just growing it as in, okay, I added a couple of numbers. I think I probably about 200 people, right? But it's not just the 200 people, but it's 200 people that actually add something to what I'm doing, or they ask questions. It's more interactive. Because I have on LinkedIn, 26,000 people that I'm connected with. But do they connect with me? No. But I tell you what, the last 100 people that I met on Clubhouse, they have connected with me. We've had offline conversations. I've had Jack Wardell, who was a guest on my show last week. I met on Clubhouse, and these people I never would have met anywhere else in life. So I mean, it just gives you a different perspective. I mean, a lot of people from the UK, other countries, and I just think it's something that if you're not on it, I think you need to check it out. And from what I understand now, well, no, I don't understand now. I know this, that people are able to monetize it, right? So if you run a clubhouse and you get a lot of people, a lot of traction, a lot of interaction, you can actually tip these people, right? So there's not everyone has this feature. In fact, if I'm a moderator in a room, I don't even know if I have the feature because it doesn't show on my screen. It only shows on the people that are listening, people in the audience. It shows on their screen, so they can actually tip, the moderator if they're giving great content and things that you appreciate, things that you're learning, you can actually tip them. So it's getting more to the monetization, which I don't think a lot of other or any other platforms do that. So if you have a small business, so it's ideal for entrepreneurs or people that want to get their brand out or their message out. And I always say, it needs to have more hoteliers on it, um, as well as needs to have more hoteliers on it, as well as CVB people, because this is a way to explain what a CVB is. Who would be your audience? The way to target those specific people, or at least talk about your brand and you as a person. I mean, that's what I started off doing. It wasn't like I'm just pushing Russell of hotels. I'm saying this is who I am, and then add something to the conversations if you can. But like I said, it's a way to enhance your brand. So excuse me one second while I take a drink of my water. So, but I would check it out if I could. I would check it out. So how do you get on Clubhouse? First of all, you have to be invited. So it's an exclusive club, right? You have to be invited and you have to have an iPhone. But I understand that, you know, droids are coming out, meaning people that have droids, it's coming up where you can get on the platform. But I don't know when that's going to be. But if you want to be invited, I think I have 5 invites. Just go ahead and DM me if you like, and then I can give you the information, or just instant message me, or whatever the heck you want to call it. You can do that. And like I said, I just need a cell phone number and make sure it's an iPhone, and then I can set you up. Will actually send you an invitation and you set yourself up. But all I need is a cell phone. So there you go. Hey, what would prevent you from traveling in 2021? Well, I got my shots, so I'm ready to go. Right. So in fact, I think I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm not, if Costa Rica is still open, I think I'm going to Costa Rica in a month or two. So there you go. So I'm ready to go. So nothing's going to stop me. Ain't no stopping me now. I don't know if that's the way that song goes, but anyway. So I'm fully vaccinated, and I think I'm probably at least a month after my second shot. So I'm ready to go. And I have my card. Are you guys carrying your card? You carry your card around with you? I don't know. But anyway, I have my card in my car, so I'm ready to go. So wherever you need it, there you go. Like a passport, right? Who's hiring? I've been adding this feature, or this segment, if you will, just so people know who's hiring. And you may know these already. I don't know, because some of them came from LinkedIn and some came from Instagram and some came from Indeed. But I only have like 4 of them. So I just picked out maybe the first 4 that I came across. So SLS Luxury Collection in Beverly Hills, looking for a director of sales and marketing. Now keep in mind, I'm in Los Angeles, right? So these are not all these are LA. Yeah, I think, well, greater LA area for these. So and they're mainly manager positions. So SLS Luxury Collection, Beverly Hills, they're looking for director of sales and marketing. The Surf Rider in Malibu. They're looking for a general manager. That's a 20-room hotel in Malibu. I've been there before. Great property. Let me check this out. Someone made a comment. I got my card. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Very good, Marsha. You got your card. Hey. So Marsha got her card. She's ready to travel as well. So there you go. Thank you for the comment. See, when you're live on where am I live on? YouTube and LinkedIn, you can make comments, real-time comments. So if you want to make a comment, you want to ask a question, go right ahead. I'm here to answer the questions. I'm here to talk. I'm here to interact, if you will. So, okay, who else is looking? An HR director, Highgate Hotel, and I believe that's the Hotel Figueroa, which is in downtown LA. They're looking for HR director, and the Sheraton Gateway LAX, right there on Century Boulevard, the entrance to LAX. They're looking for a director of rooms. So check that out. What is SSI? I'm not going to go into that because my score dropped again. I don't understand what's going on LinkedIn, but I do the most on LinkedIn, and my number went down from 75 to 71. I don't know why that is, but I'm working on it, right? I need consistency. I need to be between 75 and 80. Now I'm between like 70 and 75. That's not good. Okay, anyway, let me digress. Is your hotel open or did you go back to work? Are you creating some FOMO? Create some FOMO. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Okay, create that. Make sure you're getting your marketing department, your salespeople together and create some FOMO. We're taking pictures about not just the hotel, maybe some food. What about your area? What's going on within your area? Maybe your restaurant's not even open. So what are you doing for those people that the restaurant's not open? Maybe you need to show things in the community. What's going on? Maybe you're doing some, something socially for your hotel. Maybe employees. I don't know if that's feeding the homeless, whatever it is. Those are things that resonate with people, and then we need to see more of that stuff. And we're not seeing enough of it. And we need to be involved. We need to stand for something. People that don't stand for something will fall for anything. Okay, just remember that. All right. So let's stand for something. Use social media consistently to get your message out. Whatever your product or service is, stay relevant, and it should be a huge part of your marketing strategy. No excuse, just make it happen. Non-meat eats. I love this section, right? You guys know that, or you should know that I'm all about non-meat eats, which means I don't eat meat. I'm 100% plant-based. Been that way for over 2 years, but been a vegetarian for 12 years, something like that. So I took it upon myself. I said, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can be this whole plant-based. I don't use the term vegan. I have vegan ways, meaning I don't eat meat or anything like that, but I'm not a I haven't totally embraced veganism because that comes with a lot of other stuff that I can't do, right? So that's not going to happen. So, but I am 100% plant based. So every week I try to go to a new place and find a new place, and then I can come on the show and talk about it, right? So I do a little Instagram lives and things like that, but I haven't done one, and I haven't done one since I did this last one. But anyway, so the restaurant I went to, just in case you didn't see the live, it's called Brothers Meatballs. It's on Sunset Boulevard, Sunset and Vine in Hollywood, right? So when I say the stuff tastes like meat, and I'm not just exaggerating, not that I'm looking for it to taste like meat, but it had the consistency and the flavor of meat, and it was 100% plant-based. It was great. So make sure if you're in Hollywood, come and check it out. Why not? Um, so it's called Brothers Meatballs, Sunset and Vine, Hollywood. And then check this out. Check this out. I go in there and they have a, what do you call it? A refrigerator for, for your beverages or whatever. And the first beverage I see is a Venice Beach beverage, which is one of my buddies' beverage company, right? He started it like a couple years ago, right? And the first beverage I see is his, bright, red and yellow and whatever color can. So I'm like, I had to call him. I'm like, hey, Steph, his name's Stephen Freeman, and his wife is Michelle Freeman. They're owners of Venice Beach Beverage. So, and like I said, it was in this brother's meatball. So I had to call him and said, hey, first thing I see in the refrigerator is your beverage. So I had to go with the black cherry, right? So he was like, yeah, man, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so yeah, so if you're ever in Hollywood, Sunset and Vine Brothers Meatballs. Tell them Russell of Hotels sent you because, I've made a connection there. So tell them Russell of Hotels sent you. Another place I went to, and this was last Saturday, it's called Bombay Frankies. Now, this is at Westfields and Culver City, which used to be called Fox Hills Mall. I guess everyone still knows it as Fox Hills Mall, right off of Slauson off the 405. But anyway, it's called Bombay Frankies. So it's an Indian restaurant, but they serve these things called Frankies, which is like a burrito. So it's stuff with, and it's vegan friendly. Okay. It's not a vegan place, it's vegan friendly, which means they have vegan items on the menu. So, either I'm gonna find you. If you got vegan on the menu or you're a vegan place, I'm gonna find you. Okay. So I got this chana masala, right? So it's spicy, had comes with potatoes. I think it's tofu, but it has the Indian spices in it, and it's rolled up. It's like a burrito, right? Oh my God, you got to try that. So two places you have to try: Bombay Frankies and Brothers Meatballs. Okay, you have to try it. Okay, so who's sending me? I have to look at the comments. Walter Moore, what's going on, Walt? Of course, my audience location base marketing for marketing and what does that even mean? That's a lot of jumbo there. What are you talking about? So, somebody else knows Bombay Frankies. Okay, who is that? Come on, tell me who it is. It just says LinkedIn member or user. Someone made a comment. You find Frankie's on the streets of Bombay. Really? Okay, see, I've never been to India, so I don't know. So isn't that great? Okay. I did not know that. So I just saw it was a new restaurant. It just opened up maybe 2 months ago. And the chana masala is yes, 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 yes. Garbanzo, yes. Man, it's good. So it's good stuff, right? So you tell me it's good, right? So yeah, so see, people know. Go and try these places out. You don't have to be a vegan, I mean, a plant-based like me, 100%. Just go try them and see what it tastes like. See, it's interesting. It's just, then we have something to talk about. There you go. So anyway, so enough about that. Are you reinventing yourself? If there's no business travel, okay, because business travel has not come back yet. So what are you doing for the leisure market? Are you still doing the drive market? Are we advertising for the drive market? What are we doing? I just want to know. I just want to know. Just a question I have to ask every week. Um, are we being consistent with our content or messaging during COVID times? What does that mean? Are we sending out messages of our protocols? Meaning, are we still socially distancing in our hotels? Well, we need to make sure that's on the website. So make sure we're updating what our protocols are. Have we posted pictures or videos of our protocols and procedures so people know when they get there that they're not like ticked off because, well, I didn't know this was going to happen, or I didn't know this was open, I didn't know this was closed. I mean, you have to let people know because remember, people have to pack their patience, but sometimes they don't pack their patience, especially if they're not in the know. So if you didn't let them know that this was going on and then they just show up, I mean, that's not good. That's not good. So Desmond D'Souza. Okay, so he's the one to mention that the Chana masala is garbanzo beans. Yes, there you go, Desmond. Thank you so much for that. See, I can see, it's funny, I can see your comments on this. It's a good thing I have two computers here, right? I got my phone here and my laptop over here. So it's a good thing I can see that. So I can see your name on here, but on here, I couldn't see your name. So thank you so much. And I appreciate, let's see, Steph. Okay, Steph is on. I can't see who that is. Cheryl Rogers, hello. Dougie, Dougie from Jersey. No, Doug's from no, I'm sorry. He's from upstate New York. I'm sorry, Doug. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So are we being consistent? So make sure we're being consistent with our messages. Have we posted pictures or videos showing our protocols or procedures on our social media platforms? That's very important. Are we showing our staff utilizing our protocols? Whatever that is, cleaning, whatever, because people want to see that. Believe me, they do. I know I want to see it. Like people in masks, cleaning, people wearing gloves. Um, are we keeping housekeeping sexy? Are we showing housekeeping front and center of what's going on? Are they involved in, you know what? That's one thing. We don't show enough videos or pictures of our associates. Then that way people, they resonate with them. So when they come and check in, they're like, hey, where's Russell? Is Russell working today? Because I see him in all these videos that you guys are posting, him cleaning and, whatever. And he just seems so happy or whatever. So I just wanted to connect with him. People, it's the human connection, right? It's how hotels make people feel that make them want to keep coming back. Okay, so we have to do things differently. This is not the same thing. We got to do things differently. I keep saying that, but I don't think anybody's listening. Hello, is this thing on? Are you guys listening to me? Anyway, so what about what's open and what's closed in your hotel? So make sure you're posting these things on your video. I mean, on your website. And check this out. I don't know if you guys know who Rupesh Patel is, but he's a hotel developer, hotel owner. He's in Florida. And he has a talk show as well, and he's on LinkedIn a lot as well. So he posed this question, or he sent out this posting yesterday. And Rupesh, I'm sorry, I'm stealing this from you, but I do appreciate you, showing me, at least give me some content, right? So this is basically a question: does this help or hurt your hotel? And I'm going to read this. So, and this will be on a card. Like, say you went to the front desk, and the front desk handed you this card, and it says, "Welcome. This hotel has temporarily modified operations. Please ask your associate for the latest detail on food and beverage options, hotel amenities, and more. Thank you." So, and he basically asked, there's a question to people on LinkedIn. I'm not sure how many people responded, but I was one of the people that responded. And I said it wouldn't hurt the hotel. I think it would help the hotel because it reiterates what's going on your website. So now it would piss people off if on your website said one thing and you're handing out this card saying that we have, limited operations going on. We don't have food and beverage operation. So I think if you didn't read the website, the information on the website, shame on you, I guess. But at least it gives them information there so they know when they check in, like, okay, I know that there's limited operations, there's no food and beverage. But my next question would be, is there something, can you give me something to let me know which restaurants are open in the area? If I can't get anything here, you have delivery options and things like that. So I guess I would take it a little step further. Are there things in my room? Are there things right here? Is there a QR code where I can just book and then just see which areas or which restaurants or whatever are open in the area? That's a great idea, right? QR code, develop a QR code for all the restaurants in your area. So that way you don't have to give out anything. You just have this thing on the front desk or in the guest room that says next to the phone, it just says restaurants, food and beverage options in the area. Bloop. Oh, okay. Bombay Frankies, Brothers Meatballs. Okay, I'm gonna try those. That would be great. So, Rupesh, thank you so much for allowing me to steal that from you. I do appreciate that. So, any other questions? Let me just check and see before I move forward. No other questions. Thank you so much, though, for the comments. Contact information. How do you get a hold of Russell of Hotels? Well, I'm on every platform. So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse, and I have a website. The website is russellofhotels.com. So everything else would be Russell of Hotels, or my name is Russell Edmond, Edmond. So you can find me at Russell Edmond or Russell of Hotels. Just Google me and just see what comes up. Russell L. Edmond. Just Google me because there's another Russell Edmond like this on the East Coast, and he's not doing the same thing that I'm doing. Okay, so, but yeah, so check it out. Sponsorship opportunities if you're interested in coming on the show, or maybe even having your logo pop up. I mean, this is the thing with this what do you call it, this platform StreamYard that I'm using, that I can, and I'm just gonna use Jack's logo again. I mean, just think you're on the show or not on the show, or maybe you just wanted some sponsorship opportunities. Hey, this segment is brought to you by Elation. There you go. I mean, hello. There you go. So there you go. So if you're interested in that, just hit me up, Russell at russellofhotels.com. I'm sorry, russellofhotels.com is the website. My email is russell at russellofhotels.com. So if you have any information or any questions about any information I'm talking about, please feel free to give me a call or email me. So I'm all about being a marketing disruptor, not just for me, but for any clients that I have as well, especially in the social media space. So being relevant, staying relevant. Maybe you want to create some FOMO and you don't know how to do it. There you go. Do, 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 do. So collaboration, connecting people, and pointing people in the right direction. That's what I try to do. So these questions I always ask every week. Number one, how's your professional or personal brand staying relevant? What are you doing to stay relevant? That should be, there you go. That should be a question we should ask ourselves. Okay, how is your professional or personal brand staying relevant? What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Number two, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you're doing differently? Knowing what you know now, and this goes, you can take COVID if you want to, this whole situation. What has this taught you? What would you do differently? If you knew then what you know now, would you do anything differently? Would you learn more? Would you, I don't know, would you apply yourself more? I don't know. What would you do if you, knowing what you know now, what would you do? Number three, have you connected with anyone new lately or anyone old? Meaning someone you hadn't talked to in a long time. I have this thing every time I think about somebody, if I have their number, the email, whatever, I'll reach out to them and see, how they're doing and what's going on, especially during this time. We have to reach out to people. That's that whole human side, right? So we're all so robotic sometime, or we react to different things. I mean, we need to go that mile, show some empathy, sympathy, something, right? So just reach out to people, see how they're doing, because you never know how people are doing, right? They may be fine, or they may not be, or they just need to hear that your voice, whatever. So if you haven't connected with anyone new lately, let's connect with them. Maybe someone you haven't spoke to in a long time. Let's go ahead and just email them or call them if we have their phone number. And number four, what has this situation taught you? Has it taught you don't put all your eggs in one basket? Maybe I need to be more marketable. Maybe I need to embrace myself with social media, because that's the way to get to people these days. Because you can't, I mean, you just can't walk in and talk to people now. People have masks on. They do all this stuff, right? Have you had your vaccination? They may not want to see you. I don't know, but you have to go around that, right? You have to use ways to get to people. You have to target market people, right? You have to, and social media is the best way to do that, right? Are we going to be on the phone calling a lot of people? Guess what? What if they're not in their office? But everybody's on social media, right? Let's just think about that. So we need to rethink how we sell. And I always, when I mean sell, I mean, as a former director of sales and marketing, someone that for the last, I'm gonna say my last property was 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. I was trying to push social media, right? But you know, the powers that be didn't understand social media. Excuse me, I had to take a sip of water, but they didn't really understand it. So if they don't really understand it, so that wouldn't be the place for someone that's big on social media, right? So, but anyway, I mean, that's what it's. If anything we've taught, anything that I've learned in the situation, it's taught me to learn more about the industry, or how we can get around things in the industry. Meaning, if you can't contact people and more people on social media, guess what? You need to refocus whatever you're trying to do and do more things on social media, because everyone's on social media, right? And people are spending 7 more minutes, and this was a stat from last year, and I'm sure it's gone up, that people in 2020 were spending on average of 7 more minutes on social media than the year prior, right? So I can only imagine what it is now. Now I know, because people have a lot more time. So what's going to happen? And someone's out there going to say, what's going to happen when people go back, to doing whatever they've been doing? Well, yeah, there may be some drop off, but a lot of information is on social media. So that's how you get a lot of information. So no one's watching TVs anymore, or, I mean, I do, but but I'm limited as to what I watch, right? So I don't watch a lot of things that are on TV, because everything's like it's streamed on something else. It's streamed on another channel, or maybe I get my information on one of the platforms. So I mean, it's not just me, it's a lot of people are doing that. So just make sure you are embracing social media and using it as well as you can use it. Hotels, are you selling differently? Are you marketing more or less? A lot of them are marketing less. Are you keeping your brand in front of your competition? Do you still have competition? Regardless of what's going on, you still got competition. People are reopening. What are you doing? There's some hotels that haven't even reopened yet. So I would, I'll be flooding social media with everything because that hotel hasn't opened yet. Right? I'm open. My competition has not. I would be social mediaing the heck out of people. Okay, so and if you want help on how to do that or information how to do that, call me. I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, where was I? I put this quote on. I did this quote. Every now and then I pull something out of my butt, right? So this is a marketing quote that I put out Sunday night, and I think I put on LinkedIn, whatever. And it says, "Marketing is never about you," because we get caught up. People in hotels, and I use hotels because I've been in hotels, right? So that's why I use the hotel, the hospitality industry. We get caught up on thinking that we can control everything. No, no. Marketing is never about you, okay? It begins with your audience and what they want. Once you know what your audience wants, connect them with your product or service in a way they want to receive it, okay? So you have to know who your audience is. First and foremost, who the heck is your audience, right? Because it all goes back to, and I always look at in hotels, we always have all these market segments that we go after, and that's going to be the next thing I'm talking about. But we always talk about these market segments, like I can't remember what all of them are, right? But like business travel, corporate transient, corporate group, leisure, transient, government. And is it last room availability? Is it non last room availability? Is it government? Is it government group? Is it SMERF, which stands for social, military, education, religious, fraternal? Is it tour and travel, which is international? Business. I mean, people coming from, let's say, Europe and Asia to come to the United States. That's tour and travel for the most part. Or is it entertainment? Is it sports? I mean, all these segments. Do we need all these segments? I don't know. I don't know. Um, people they're saying, well, I can't wait to get back to travel. Go to these trade shows. Well, what have we been doing in the interim? Have we been doing things in lieu of going to see people? I mean, I know that we want to see people, we want to hug people, we want to touch people, we want to do all that stuff. But are we just waiting for that to go? Are we just waiting for that? Have we been doing things other than meeting with people? Are we doing social media stuff? Are we doing posting? Are we sending these things out to these people? Are we targeting specific groups? I mean, that's what we need to do. That's what it comes back to this. How do people want to receive the information you're giving them? So go back to my advice for hotels, and I'm going on today. I'm all one today, right? All the information that we get on hotels, I mean, on our guests when they check in, or when they make a reservation, we have all this information about them. What they like, what rooms they like, and they want a top floor. Whatever it is, we need to take that information and use that to our benefit. We're not utilizing the information that we have, right? We're not taking care of guests like we should be, because if we were taking care of the guests, we wouldn't have TripAdvisor and all this kind of stuff, right? TripAdvisor is a way for people to, they complain about, their stay or whatever. And and on the other hand, they do come in and congratulate, hotels that are doing a good job too. But primarily, you get a lot more complaints than anything, right? Well, if we took care of the guests while they were there, we wouldn't have to worry about all this other stuff, right? But we need to get back to seeing what our guests want. What do they want, right? Okay, if we're going after corporate group, if we're right in the middle of a business park, okay, then our primary market segment that we need to be trying to attack is what? The corporate market, right? So why are we worrying about some of this other stuff? And we bring new people in to go, let's go after this group over here, when we're not even really focusing on that, the one that's giving us all our bread and butter, right? So am I saying eliminate some of this stuff? No, I'm just saying we need to be smart about what we're doing. And if we do more social media stuff, maybe video creating, more content creating, find out who your audience is and making sure they're getting information, that will enhance what we're doing on the other end, is what I'm saying. So I'm not saying get rid of anything. I'm saying be smart about what we're doing. Okay. So hopefully that made some sense. See how I kind of brought that back in? And I didn't even mention OTAs, so I'm not even gonna go into that. But anyway, let's just say this is one more thing that I'm gonna talk about before I get off of this show. Yeah, I got one more topic, one more thing. Hold on. I got it. Wait a minute. Okay. If you're a DOSM or a sales manager, so if you're a director of sales and marketing or a sales manager, and you're applying for a job, should the GM consider your social media engagement during the hiring process? Do you ever see? I've never seen this before. Okay, and I look at a lot of job descriptions, right? So like the jobs that I mentioned earlier, the people that are looking for whatever, like SLS is looking for a director of sales and marketing. I read through their the position that the what is it called? Position description, job description, whatever you want to put it, however you want to put it. It mentioned nothing about social media on there, nothing at all. So, and I said, well, maybe that's just this one. So I looked at a couple more. They mentioned nothing about social media. So I know a lot of companies, they will contract it out to other third parties that maybe do social media. I understand that part. But if your director of sales and marketing doesn't know anything about it, how are they going to know if it's being effective? Which platforms are they using? I mean, you have to know, as a director of sales and marketing these days, you have to know a lot more than you did, a couple of years ago. All right. So, your revenue, how to get people in, sales, marketing, the specific targeting. I mean, your segments. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to know, right? But social media is one of those things that are important, just as important as the other stuff. So everything together works to get business in. If you're not doing one thing, will you still get business in? Maybe you will, but you're going to be missing out on something too. So this is just something I'm thinking. I think GMs, they need to be aware of social media, which means when they're hiring people, new people, they need to make sure those people know about social media as well. Because just think, if I had a sales team, this is a big hotel, I have 10 sales managers or catering managers, sales managers or whatever. Just think if I had 10 more people posting things about our hotel, our brand. I mean, how much more business would you get, or how much more branding opportunities would you get? I'm not saying everything's going to turn to business, but to get your brand out there is important, right? So if you had 10 people in your sales department, and that's, like I said, that's just not just salespeople, but you got catering salespeople as well, right? So this, because my last hotel, I think we had at least 10 managers, maybe even more than that, 14 managers or something like that. Just think if I had 14 managers posting things independent of each other about that hotel or that particular brand. I mean, just think about that. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm off my soapbox. And then at the end, you ask them what is their SSI number, their LinkedIn SSI number. See how they engage with people on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a great platform for hoteliers or for business people, entrepreneurs. It's a great platform for that. So how do they interact with people on LinkedIn, their followers or the people that are connected with? Just little tidbits of information. Russell of Hotels is full of it today. So, but anyway, this is the end of the show, and I always want to end my show by saying these four things. These are Russell of Hotels, the 4 Ps. Number one, purpose. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Know your why. People say, know your why. Know what the heck you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, I do this because I want people, I'm trying to be funny, first of all. This is my stand-up job. No, I'm joking. But I want people to know about what's going on in the industry. If I can provide some information, some insight or whatever, or just from my experience, if I can help out one person, that's all I'm trying to do. So that's my why. My purpose is helping people out, giving them information. That's what I'm here for. Number two, people. Be a leader, be inclusive, especially during these times. We need to be more inclusive of people. All right. Passion. Either you have it or you don't. Either, I think I have a passion for what I'm doing, and I think it shows sometimes, right? Or I think it shows all the time. Number 4, perseverance. Be consistent. Continue to evolve. Don't give up and swerve when you need to. I don't use pivot. I use swerve. Leaders need to be more. Leaders need to have more empathy during these COVID times. Be more inclusive with your team. That reiterating what I said a little while ago. Use this time to develop yourself, separate yourself from the pack, learn something new, something different. Invest in yourself and excuse me, and always stay relevant. No, don't forget about that. Focus on what you can control. All the other crap, if you can't control it, why are you worried about it? And your brand is your culture. And last, but certainly not least, leadership dictates where your company will go. So that's it. I thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. That was our, what is that show? Our 105th show. So you guys take care. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.